Hello YouTube, it's Bonnie, Old Soul Mermaid, with a kind of combination video today. It is an unboxing, but also a side-by-side comparison with a deck that has a similar vibe. Now the deck that I'm doing the unboxing of is not a new deck. I believe it came out around last summer, and I've always wanted it, but just because there's been, you back Kickstarters and there's pre-orders and something else pops up, this kind of got pushed down the list because it was more expensive than the other deck that I have, which is mass market, but it has a similar vibe. So we're going to compare them today to kind of see if you need both. So I'm really excited. So I've already opened up at least the side of the package, but I haven't opened what's inside. So let us dive in, and I hope that this deck didn't arrive smashed. It's a bubble wrap, can't resist, envelope, and it is wrapped in bubble wrap, and this is the This Might Hurt Tarot deck by Isabella Rodman. And this is the second printing. I don't want to say second edition because I don't believe there's been any changes to the cards themselves, but there has been changes to the box. And I know with the first printing of the Kickstarter deck, there was no barcode in the back, and I believe the deck was maybe a ½ inch, quarter of an inch wider. So I know that the box has been streamlined. Also, the coloring of the cards themselves, I think, are a little bit more saturated in this printing. So this is the second printing, not a second edition, because to the artwork itself, there has, to my knowledge, there's been no changes made. So let's get into it. Oh, I did get some cute little extras. Now, I bought this off her site, and I know on her Etsy shop she was running low when I looked. And I bought it directly from her site because I believe the shipping was cheaper. Something, I got a little bit better deal on her site than the Etsy shop. But there's some cute stickers, and I love this business card. It feels like it has that rose petal finish. It's wonderful. So there is her information if you want to see her website. IsabellaRotman@gmail.com is her email. ThisMightHurtStudios.com if you're interested, but also you can look up this deck on Etsy. It still may be available. I know the numbers were running low last time I checked. Okay, so let's put plastic aside, and we're going to open this deck, and then we are going, as we go through this deck, we're going to be going through another deck at the same time. So this has been a very popular deck, a well-loved deck by many in the community. I'm glad to finally have gotten it. I believe that you had a choice on when it was the first printing and the Kickstarter of having the black kind of holographic edges, and now all that's available is pearlescent edging. Holographic pearlescent edging, but I believe, from what I remember, everything else has pretty much stayed the same. This Might Hurt Tarot. Nice, sturdy, this favorite box. If it can't be this magnetic box, it has to be, a two-part box with thumb cutouts. No tuck boxes. But that will not stop me from buying a deck if it's something I really want. So it has a chunky little guidebook, really good chunky little guidebook with a good size picture of the cards. Does it have a table of contents? There's an introduction, no table of contents. So let's see, you get a reading, how to read, you get some 3-card spreads, and then you get right into the cards pretty much. Or wait, no, she goes into the language of tarot, the major arcana, the minors, the suit of wands. She goes through the suits, numbered cards, court cards. So she gives a little bit about court cards, and then the card reverse meanings and card descriptions. And this is kind of neat. Decks she was looking at while she was drawing and making this deck. So it's kind of nice that she put her inspiration down. That's kind of a nice little tidbit in there. I always like to see what is the inspiration, and I think this is very, very interesting that in her bibliography she states Stasia Burrington, the Sacerdote Tarot creator, her guidebook of the Sacerdote Tarot as in the bibliography, Melissa Sanova's Kitchen Table Tarot, Biddy Tarot by Bridget Esselmont, Rachel Pollack, Michelle T., the Modern Tarot, the author of the Modern Tarot, and that's really cool. So I know this is a modern diverse deck, but it is an RWS clone, just a more modernized version of it. And it doesn't come plastic wrap, it just comes with this sleeve, and you can see the pretty edges. Isn't that beautiful? That comes right off. And these are the backs. Now, I just did an unboxing on my channel of the new Simplicity Tarot. And the cardstock seems very similar. This seems a little bit more matte than that. So it's not like rose petal finish. It should be easy for you riffle shufflers. I'm looking at the back of the deck. I will notice that the borders are uneven on both sides. So it's thicker on one side, and I don't know if that happened with the first printing. I'm going to have to ask her about that. I don't know. I can't remember. If you have a first edition, let me know. But this is a very matte cardstock. Super matte. It feels like it'll be flexible and it'll bend back into shape. It's sturdy, but not thick. So, let's see. Yeah, those pretty edges. So, I'm going to show you the deck we are going to compare it with. We are going to compare it with the Modern Witch Tarot, which again, this is a mass market deck, readily available everywhere on Amazon. It's by Lisa Stearle or Stearle, and it is it's also a favorite of many people. Same modern kind of vibe. I think this color palette is a little more bold, but it's supposed to be modern, diverse deck. I have had it for a while, haven't worked with it a whole lot because, you know, you have other decks and you're trying to work through them methodically. So let's go through this. This one has a wonderful sturdy 2-piece top off box. And there's lots of reviews on YouTube with these walkthroughs of both of these decks. But I haven't done one, so I'm going to do one. I'm going to do a side-by-side. This one comes with a nice sturdy hardback little white book. It's actually a little blue book, which is fantastic. Not as chunky, not as much content as this might hurt, but definitely enough to get you started. Spreads, there are some spreads in here. The Cunning Path, the Inner Wheel, 1-card spread, 3-card spread, 4-card spread. So yeah, you get a nice little book with this, and it's in a really nice 2-piece box. So we are going to put that aside. Now I'm going to bring out the Major Arcana first because I don't remember. I put these in order, but I don't know what order these are going to be in. So I've got the suits off to the side. So let us see, and let's try to get in. Sorry for that bump. I want to try to give you the best possible look possible so you can make your decision if any of these cards are in, any of these decks are in your wheelhouse. So, and also if you have one, do you need the other? Now let's compare the size. They are in height the exact same size, but the Modern Witch, let's see, actually it's just, the Modern Witch is just a hair, a fraction, like a 1/16 of an inch taller, probably an 1/8 of an inch wider. This does feel like a more narrow deck. Yeah, just feeling it in my hand. Yeah, this one takes up more of it, as you can see. Both have a very different feel. This has more of a glossy, not a super gloss like Red Feather or whatnot, but it has a coating on it. It is thick, but it is sturdy. And this is super matte. Okay, so that's the difference in the cardstock. And also, this is a mass market deck, so you're not going to get any edging. All right, so we have the Fool. Now, both of these are supposed to be RWS clones to a certain extent. As you can see, this one has definitely more of a bold color palette than this one, more muted. Sorry, had to take a swig of my Diet Coke. So that is the Fool, and we're just going to go right through these. Both have modern landscaping right here. Do you see? She's got her phone, listening to music. He's got the traditional kind of rose, devil may care, both of them. She looks like more like a little flower child. Little boho girl, very cute. I like these. It's funny how they both have chosen, both artists have chosen to use a person of color for the Magician. I think that's totally cool, but one's female, one's male. Or I think a lot of the figures, well, I would say for both decks from what I've seen, they both have also, you know, more ambiguous people depicting the cards, so not, you can't tell really, is it female or male, which is totally cool. I'm looking at, yeah, all the symbology pretty much is there, except for, you know, the traditional table, but yeah, very similar in vibe, and actually very similar in the color palette. The High Priestess, both badass. This one has a little more traditional vibe, where this one, you know, it's a little bit more modernized with the computer that she's holding. But traditional symbology. Here instead of pillars, we've got 2 trees, which is very nice. The Empress. Now both of these Empresses are gorgeous. Again, a little bit more toned down with the palette. This one has a more Mother Earth vibe. And this one has a more badass goddess vibe, if I had to, you know, put a label on it. I like these Emperor cards, both of them. I like that they put, well, they often put an older figure, but he's more aged than some of the emperors. The emperors maybe are depicted in their late 30s, kind of early 40s. He's definitely in, I would say, 60s. And then we've got younger energy here. Neither, well, actually, I would say both masculine and feminine here, which I do like. The Hierophant, this is more traditional over here. This might hurt. The Modern Witch has a woman. In a traditional pose, though, it is... They're both traditional, looking at both of them side by side. But one's a male, one's a female. The Lovers. I love both of these. This one is a little bit more intimate. It's beautiful. This one has more traditional bent, but this one really gets in there and gives you the warm fuzzies, right? Different color palette. The Chariot. Okay, similar vibes with the motorcycle and a biker chick on there. Both are holding wands. This one does have the, like the two sphinxes kind of facing in both directions, but she's got two motorcycles. So I love both of these. But again, both very similar in vibe if you look at the background. Again, here we go. Similar in vibe. It's actually very nice to see these side by side. The vibe is so similar, so similar. It's barely a potato thing because they are so similar. And I would say still the color palette in this one is bold. This one's a little softer. And look at this, the Hermit card. Whoops, lost my stone. Very, very similar. Female figure. But this one's more traditional on the mountaintop with the lantern. Both have silver hair, though she looks younger. She looks like she's a platinum blonde. She could be platinum blonde, or she could be an older crone figure, a woman in her crone phase of life, probably closing that computer. But both beautiful. Wheel of Fortune. These have different vibes to them. Don't you love the fierce look in this one, though? Both very cool. Justice. Again, both look to be female. One's sitting and one is standing. Both very strong presences. Just, yeah. I'll try to keep the video short and not too long, but I do want you to get a good look at both decks. The Hanged one, and this is the Hanged Man. This one cracks me up. He's more of a, you know, the lumberjack guy. And this one is a little more hipstery. he's got his, this one looks like he's more in a Zen state of mind with his eyes closed, just accepting his situation. But this one looks very relaxed too. The Death card. So very similar. Very, very similar. Staying close to the RWS. Yeah. See? The child with the offering. The figure looking away. The pleading figure. This one is not cloaked. I love the regalia on the horse, though. Both have the white rose flower on the flag. Yeah, both very similar. If you were having to choose between one or the other, I'd say this would be a very hard decision. Because this deck is, you know, 20 bucks on Amazon. This one is 42, 45. So, Temperance. Yeah, very, very modern vibe, but keeping the traditional symbology. Now this has to be one of my favorite devil cards. I do prefer the devil in this card. I just do. Look at all the kind of Sodom and Gomorrah depiction down here. And, you know, the cigarette. This one has a lot of character. This one sticks very, very closely to the RWS. This one, she did put her own spin on this, and I love it. Tower. You know, it's a tower card. Very, very traditional. Oh, gosh. And this one, there's a impaled woman. A little bit more gore factor in that one. And look at how similar these star cards are. Both beautiful. They both are serene. I like how she has modern water jugs here. She's got more, you know, traditional vessels, vases. Beautiful. We're at the moon now, and with both cards, they've depicted the wolf and dog type masks. This one has kind of a sea creature coming out. This one has a traditional lobster crayfish. I have to say, I love both the moons depicted. I like the wildness of this one. Do you see that? I don't know if you can see the artwork. There's the razor stubble, hair on the legs, which I like. A little more earthiness to this. This is a little bit more mystical. The sun, and look, there's a young child, but not completely naked in either one, which is nice. And this one has the baby on the horse, the child, or more of a toddler, and this one has a young girl on a horse. Sunflowers, both suns have faces. I like the character in this one. Yeah, a little bit more depth and personality to this one, but both very fun sun cards. I like this Judgment card. And the tradition, the Egyptian weighing of the soul and the feather. I like that. This is very traditional RWS. This one, she's got her own spin on it. The Judgment of the Souls. the World. She's not covered up. She is showing a little bit more body diversity in this one. I'd say this one has a little bit more personality to it, but I like both. All right, so now we go, let me bring the Suit of Wands over. Ace of Wands. It's an ace, it's a hand, both holding out a staff, a wand. The Two of Wands, this one sticks extremely close to the RWS. This one, she's got her own spin, plotting out her course with a map. She's got her cell phone in her hand, and I must say I love those heels, those slides. I love this old vintage station wagon. I love both vibes. She's obviously young, but she's a little bit more mature. Maybe she's finished college or her schooling. She's a little bit further along, the energy. This one, she seems very young and very new. Both are great cards. The Three of Wands. Now let's start to take some action, get out of the planning stages. Again, this one's sticking very similar to the traditional. This one putting a little more spin, her own spin on it, but keeping some of the traditional elements. I like the body diversity in this. This one you can see there's a little bit more ethnic diversity. Both have body diversity, I think, and ethnic diversity, race diversity in both. I like how there's rabbits here for the Four of Wands. We've got a more traditional Four of Wands here, but with a modern city backdrop. Very nice. Ooh. I do like the super matte feel of these cards, though, as I'm touching them. So, dogfight here. I like that. And Five of Wands, and it just hit me. Oh my gosh. Do you see this? How appropriate right now. Do you see two of these figures are wearing masks? My goodness. So I like the energy of both of these cards. I like the dog fight, this being depicted as a dog fight. And, you know, with dogs, sometimes it's hard to know, you know, they play so rough, and it's, unless you're a dog expert, I have dogs, but unless you're a real expert, it's hard to know when, you know, it's just the rough playing, the dog play, or when it's going to turn into something, you know, a real dog fight, you know, bloodbath. There's that fine line. So yeah, both cards are great. And we've got the Six of Wands. I love how she's got her leopard coat on, her red boots, ripped jeans. And I love how this one is riding into triumph on her bicycle. So both are very clever. Very, very clever. And if you haven't already, if you like what you're seeing, I'm trying to give you the best view possible of these cards. Hit a like or subscribe. I've been at it for a few months, but I still consider myself a new channel. I'm trying to learn and grow, but the main focus of this channel is to show you the best possible view of the cards. So I always try to film in daylight, natural daylight, and try to get in as close as possible so you can make good purchasing decisions. So yeah, so now we're at the Seven of Wands. She looks like Jennifer Lopez to me. The hair, the face. I like the vibe of this one. I like both, but this one seems a little more fierce. A little more, yeah, come and get me. I'm ready. Both are great depictions, though. Eight of Wands. Motorcycle here. Fast-moving animals here. Which is your preference? I think both are great. Nine of Wands. Again, very traditional RWS. Here, I love that the artist put her own spin on it. It looks like he's studying for exams or some kind of project. The wands are depicted by pens and pencils. That, I think, is genius. Both are great. I like this deck. Remains true to RWS, but it's got more modern settings. This deck so far is like, there are cards that, you know, the artist has taken artistic license and put her own little spin on the RWS, and it's great. Ten of Wands. I would say this one's got more of a burden, don't you think? Oh gosh, those locks look heavy. Page of Wands. And I love how they have the salamander on her shirt. No salamander here, but I love the youthful energy of both, especially in this one. I'm loving the color palette though, the warmness, the glow. This one seems to be glowing. Knight of Wands, traditional in this one. I like, look at the little spikes on the epaulets. It looks like this person just sewed those on. DIY crafts. This one's got a motorcycle. I love both. Really love both. Queen of Wands. Both have their familiars. Yeah, more traditional here. This one's got a little more modern bent to it. Both are great. I know you're probably tired of me saying that, but you know, it's hard to make a decision. They're different and similar, and because they are RWS clones. This is the King of Wands, and the King looks to be depicted as a female here. And it's a little bit more ambiguous in this one, which is great. So now we're going into the Suit of Cups. I like the pastel-y feel of this suit, this ace, of both aces. This one's a coffee mug. This one's a traditional, you know, chalice. These are both, you know, similar and beautiful. The Two of Cups, both are wonderful. This one, again, like the Lover's card, just gives you the feels. I love the little artwork with the hair on the arms and the razor stubble, you know, kind of, I love that. A little more modern depiction here with two females, which is great. So here we've got two males and here we've got two females, it would appear. They've got their coffee mugs, they've got the traditional chalices, 3 of Cups. Okay, these are very similar. So it's really like, yeah. This one has a little bit more booty. You can see the booties of all of them. The Bootylicious card, which I think is great. Okay, we're into the 4 of Cups. Our sweatshirt says over it. I like in this card, this one she looks a little more bored, but this one she looks like she's too into her meditation practice that she's missing what's coming over here. Or maybe her meditation practice is opening her up to other possibilities, other gifts. So I like the vibe. This one is very a traditional vibe, but this one's got a little bit extra in my opinion. The 5 of Cups. Very similar in vibe. It's just, if you prefer the obvious woman, I guess I would say obvious woman in the dress and boots, or the person in jeans and skinny jeans and the hoodie. This one's again coffee mugs. This one is remaining true with the chalices. 6 of Cups, again, very similar vibe and similar with the color palette. The color of the cups is the background in this one. Greens, some yellows, very, very similar. Yeah, very, very similar. The 7 of Cups, both very traditional. This one depicted with flower planters, and I just love the look on her face. It's like, how do I choose? I love how you can see that, you know, the, like, oh my gosh. It's like when you walk into your favorite, some of us when we walk into for me it's Joann's or a metaphysical shop or Ulta or Sephora, and we're like, oh. Also for me it's a bookstore too. It's like, how do I choose? There's 15 things I want. Eight of Cups. Similar feeling, except it looks like some of these cups have been stomped on and broken. So a little bit more kind of like, you know, kind of stomping on the past, moving on. Kind of a little bit more aggressive energy here. Kind of, but, you know, they're so similar. 9 of Cups, very traditional. Substituted this cute girl for the medieval man, but everything else is very traditional. I like how they put the 9 of Cups as an artisan, and look at the things that he's created. And this brings him joy and satisfaction, and this is where he wants to be right now. And it's taken him a while to get there. And that's what I'm getting from that card. Traditional Ten of Cups, but it looks like it's a same-sex couple. And their children, so it's very traditional with the rainbow. And the Ten of Cups is depicted as birds and different kind of cups in the rainbow. All different kinds. Which I like that, which shows, maybe it's to show the diversity, just as many cups there are in the world, there are people, living beings. Everybody should be accounted for. It's great. Oh goodness, and I'm looking at, okay, we're going to just flip through these really, really quick because it's already at 40 minutes. Page of Cups. Both have the fish. This one's in a bag. We've got 2 more suits to go. Knight of Cups. Queen of Cups. Staying traditional. I love the mermaid. A little more modern. Depicting some body diversity here, which is always great. King of Cups. I love this King of Cups. They're showing again somebody mature and older, and that's what I like when decks are showing race, body diversity, and also age diversity, which is what I think a lot of decks are still lacking. And I'm going to harp on that. That's my thing. Ace of Swords. Traditional, the Two of Swords. It's funny how they both have kind of ginger-haired girls. She's got switchblades or more knives where she still has the swords. Three of Swords. Oh, that one kind of just hurts me a little more. Four of Swords. Oh wow, she's definitely sleeping with one of her knives. Yeah, this one is kind of a realistic depiction though. It's like, oh geez, need to take a break. Five of Swords. Again, similar, traditional. Six of Swords. Very traditional. This one is going off by himself in the motorboat. Seven of Swords. She's a little bit more cavalier with what she's doing. This guy is booking it. Eight of Swords. I have to say I like the energy of this one with her being on her knees. Again, a little more body diversity. Nine of Swords. They're both traditional. This one being more of a clone. The Ten of Swords. And this one, I think this is the card that Linda, is it Lisa Stearle? Yes, made first, and that's what inspired the rest of the deck. The Ten of Swords. This one's a little bit more, yeah, a little bit more gory. This one is, yeah, because actually this is the card, the Everything is Fine card is the one that started her working on this deck, and I think it's a great concept. So the Page of Swords, traditional. This one is more of a young girl. This person is a little bit older, I would say, but you know, you can be a page at any point in your life. Knight of Swords. Again, this one sticks with the traditional horses. This one goes with motorcycles. I have to say, I love this queen. I just do. Yeah. She's her own person. Totally. Her style, her vibe. I do love her boots, though, here. The King of Swords. I love that they put an older person in the King of Swords, obviously experienced. He's been through some things. He's physically challenged, but he's fierce. And the last suit, you guys, last suit, thank you for sticking with me. The Ace of Pentacles. Very traditional, except for the, trying to balance. And this one, her balancing act is up in the air. I do like this one. Three of Pentacles, collaboration. I like how they're both doing art projects. This one is painting, drawing. This one is sculpting. Takes a team effort with teachers or partners. Four of Pentacles, both have similar energy. Female, male. The Five of Pentacles, both very similar. This one looks a little bit more desperate to me. These figures don't look quite as desperate as these do. The Six of Pentacles. Okay, I'm loving her wrap dress right here, or is it a faux wrap dress? And I have several patterns that I've been meaning to make myself one of these very dresses. I would say I like the energy in this one. She seems a little bit too like, here, you plebes, take what I have. It's like she's got a little more haughty stance, but that's what you have to... There's so many ways to read this card, so I guess both cards are depicting ways that this card can be read. Seven of Pentacles. Again, I'm just loving the detail with the razor stubble, and I know Isabella Rodman. I think she wrote the book and she did the line drawing, but I think somebody else did the coloring for her deck. I think that's right. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Eight of Pentacles. This one took a little bit, one is more traditional. They took, in this one, this time they took a more modern approach of the artist drawing on her pad with the stylus. Nine of Pentacles. I like both of these. I mean, you can really relate with this one, though. This one seems more down to earth. She's in her garden working her tomatoes and carrots. I'd say I prefer the vibe in this one because it's a little bit more down to earth, but this one is totally cute as well. The Ten of Pentacles. I love both of these. I do, I love both of these. This one's a little bit more rustic. They're both great. Potato, potato, right? Page of Pentacles, both are young, looks like females. I love the body diversity in here. Just like real figures, you know? Knight of Pentacles. Pentacles. Okay, both of these are fabulous. I love her tattoo, and she's on her scooter. Is that a little jackalope? But this one is so serene and so in her element as well. So, I mean, you gotta love both. This one, though, he has the King of Pentacles vibe for me. This one is a little young for me to consider a true King of Pentacles energy. This guy kind of embodies it a little more, I think, in my opinion. But all right, do you need both decks? Obviously no. I would say no, you do not need both decks. If you can afford both decks, I would say both have similar but different vibes. There are certain, you know, just separate cards that I liked more on one deck than I did in the other, or that gelled with me a little bit more. This is easily accessible, mass market. It's about half the cost of this one. Both modern, diverse. I would say there's more diversity in this one, a little bit more detail, maybe a little bit more realness in just the expressions, body, like I said, body hair, but both are faithful, good RWS clones. Both have some nudity in there, though this one, the closeness of the Lovers and the Two of Cups is really palpable in this deck. So cardstock, again, it's both have good cardstock. Both will be great for actually this one is a little bit harder to break in for riffle shuffling, but it's a good sturdy cardstock. It doesn't really, it's not a heavy gloss, it sticks together. This one is super, super matte. It's a little bit smaller if you have small hands, a little, just that tad bit shorter, a tad bit narrower. I don't know if she's going to be printing these again, so I would say if you want this stack, go on her website, check Etsy, because I know on Etsy they were running low, but sometimes they say that and then they put another batch in. So I don't know how much she has sold of this second printing, if she has plans of doing a second edition. I don't know any of that. So this deck has been out for about a year, so I would say, you know, this one is always going to be around. This one is a little bit more precious right now. So if you can swing it, I would say get this one. But obviously, I'm glad to have both. This one is not going to break the bank if you want to have both. So that is it. That is my review of the This Might Hurt Tarot deck and the Modern Witch side-by-side comparison. And again, please, if you found any value to this video, please hit a like, a subscribe, a notification bell. I appreciate and thank you the time you spent with me, 53 minutes and counting. So I will sign off now, and I wish and hope that you have the most beautiful of days, and see you soon.